What's going on, everybody? My name is Anders Hare.
And I'm Darniesha Thompson.
Welcome to a new episode of Sweet Tea. I wish y'all were in here with us right now because Darniesha is looking like Miss Beyonce Knowles herself with that drop on top of her head.
Halo. Halo.
Where are the fans? We need fans for that hair.
That's why we need to start recording this, just so you can see how. No.
If y'all want to see episodes where it's like a video, not like a video, like.
Well, it's a video. You be recording us.
Like a visual podcast. That's what we're going to call it. We'll call it a visual podcast. If y'all want to see us do a visual podcast, let us know. You know, DM us, hit us up.
Somebody does that.
Blow up our inboxes.
I think No Limit Larry, they have a podcast.
Yeah.
The Morning Madhouse. So, and they record themselves doing the podcast.
The podcast, it's kind of like the Breakfast Club. You know, they re-air the episodes, their interviews and stuff like that.
That's what we should. Yeah. Because we be looking fool most times.
No, we don't. Look.
Most times.
I just said you look like Beyonce.
Today.
We look good.
How many episodes are we in right now?
6.
Right. So today I look good.
1 out of 6. We did good for 1 out of 6. If you're listening to us right now, be sure to go ahead and follow us on Instagram. If you're not following the Sweet Tea page on Instagram, then why?
Why are you breathing?
Why? Right.
Why are you living? You're not living.
Why?
How can you listen to a podcast but not follow the social media sites?
Right. Don't make no sense. Go ahead and follow us on Instagram. Follow us on
our
page. Subscribe to our page on all platforms. We're on Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, Stitcher, Google Play. It's too many to remember. Too many.
All right,
but
YouTube,
wherever you
iTunes,
you listen to podcasts, that's where you go.
Spotify,
Sweet Tea Podcast.
Yep, just Google me, baby.
Oh, and be sure to rate us too. Be sure to rate us.
Oh yeah.
So we'll know how we're doing. Let us know how we're doing so we can improve on our podcast.
You can go on our official website and leave comments.
Yes. Under our page that's called
Sweet Tea Podcast .weebly.com.
Yep. sweetteapodcast.weebly.com. All right. So, Darniesha, what are we talking about today?
Today, we're going to talk about the big umbrella. Okay. Thank you.
Just drum roll.
I know. That's what I said. Thank you. You can end it. We're talking about girls and boys equality. Gender equality.
Yes. Gender equality.
Or lack thereof in the American society today. It's expected back then, but come on now. We're in 2018.
Right.
It's time to get it together.
We're going to be talking about the whole debacle going on between the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts.
So much controversy.
Right. You know, the whole incident about the girls wanting to be a part of the Boy Scouts simply because of the rank, where, you know, it's kind of two separate institutions already. We'll also be getting to the bottom of who is responsible for Eagle Scouts being favored more than the gold ranking Girl Scouts. You know, because those are the two ranks, gold and Eagle.
I was about to say, because I don't know. I'm not familiar with Scouts, so I'm sure people who ain't familiar with it don't even know what an Eagle Scout gold rank, what it even means.
It's the different ranks that they use. Basically, both. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
But we'll also be answering the question, what is it going to take to provide equal opportunities for men and women going into the workforce?
So, all that and more on this episode of Sweet Tea. All right. So, listeners, I know this already, but you guys do not. I have a tenured Boy Scouts of America vet in the house with me right now.
Yes.
Everybody give it up for Anders Jamal Hare.
Yes. Thank you. Eagle Scout extraordinaire. Hold your applause. Hold your applause.
No pictures. No pictures.
My experience in Boy Scouts, it was, I was a Cub and I was in Boy Scouts. So I've done this literally for the majority of my life.
Yeah. What age did you start?
First grade. So when I was like 5 or 6 years old.
Because
because
I didn't even know. So you start off in Cub.
Yeah, you start off as a Cub Scout, as a Tiger Cub.
And that's from kindergarten up to 5th grade.
Mm-hmm. Kindergarten, basically elementary school. Boy Scouts is like middle school to high school.
Yeah, 11 ages. Boy Scouts is 11 to 18.
Mm-hmm.
That's so weird that they do that.
Like,
why? Have different.
Like have different ranks and stuff like
that.
Yeah. So the challenges, I guess, get a little bit harder.
Mm-hmm.
Boy Scouts versus Cub Scouts. Cub Scouts is more, you're going camping and you're doing all these little
basically
activities.
Camp.
Yeah, it's like basic camp. Like,
yeah.
Like let the little ones do what they do.
Right.
Boy Scouts, on the other hand, is not rigorous, but it's a little bit more challenging. Mm-hmm. You actually have to work to get the different merit badges and stuff that you earn. One of the hardest ones that I remember we had to do was wilderness survival, where we had to spend, I believe it was 12 hours out in the wilderness, no tent. We slept on the floor, on the ground.
What'd y'all eat?
I think we ate before we left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but all we had was our water and first aid kit, and that was it. And we had to use our resources to survive.
But what if something would have happened?
They have other people there. They're just not on the premises with you. I think we had like one leader with us. He had like a walkie-talkie or something like that.
So he was there just to watch y'all, but he couldn't like help y'all or nothing like that.
No.
I was about to say, just to send some kids out in the woods for 12 hours, like anything could happen.
Yeah. It was a good experience. I think when we were little, it was funny. We used to dread going to meetings and going on camping trips and doing stuff. But now,
I think I was a Girl Scouts once upon a time.
Really?
I remember going to like a meeting. I was like, when I was a kid, I did everything for like a day. So I'm not sure if I was actually in it or I went to like the first
it was like meeting. An interest meeting.
Yeah, the introduction meeting, and I was like,
yeah, I'm not feeling it.
And my mom like, girl, I ain't about to go with you to sell no cookies. We ain't doing that.
Oh my gosh, I remember the Boy Scouts. So not a lot of people know this. Did you know the Boy Scouts sell popcorn
now?
Yeah. No, they sell popcorn.
Oh,
like they've sold popcorn for about as long as the Girl Scouts have sold cookies.
They can keep the popcorn. I want my cookies. That's my Thin Mints.
Nobody knows that. That's crazy. Like,
cause they don't be selling the popcorn.
Yes, they do.
No, I don't be seeing it.
We sold popcorn rigorously.
They don't have it on the table. I see everything, every box of cookies, but the popcorn.
No. The Boy Scouts sell popcorn.
That's what I said. That's all I see is damn Boy Scouts.
The Boy Scouts don't sell cookies. No, they don't. Darniesha, the Boy Scouts don't sell cookies.
Well, it's maybe some Cub Scouts, but they sell cookies.
The Boy Scouts do not sell cookies.
I've seen them.
The Boy Scouts sell popcorn. The Girl Scouts sell cookies, which is getting to my point. We sold popcorn. We sold hella popcorn, but it's funny. Nobody wants to buy a popcorn because, in my opinion, it's overpriced. Like it's $10 for a box of popcorn. The hell is paying that way? I can go get a box of Orville popcorn for $3 from the store, or Pop's Secret.
Cause they're buying it to use. They're using the kids' innocence to make people more willing to buy the popcorn. Just like, why do we give money to the little people jangling the bell during Christmas time?
But by the time we get to like 8th, 9th grade, that cute factor has worn off. Nobody cares anymore.
True that.
It was like, somebody get this teenager out of here.
Hell, I don't see Girl Scouts, like old-ass Girl Scouts selling cookies. I always see the little girls and little boys selling stuff.
Well, the thing about the cookies is the Girl Scouts own them cookies. Them cookies are well known. Like, people will kill for a box of Thin Mints. I know I'll kill for a box of Thin Mints. So it's just a matter of people's preference. You know, the cookies are fairly priced. They're good cookies. Boy Scout popcorn is good, but it's way overpriced in my opinion. So Boy Scouts, y'all need to handle that.
I've always wondered, do y'all really learn anything from Boy Scouts?
Of course.
Like,
world like skills that we could use today.
You pay for it, right?
Yeah, you pay dues every annual dues.
I just don't like. What did you learn in Boy Scouts that you couldn't learn on the streets for free?
We learned sort of the inner workings of how to be an overall person. The Boy Scouts actually had several principles that they live by. All of those different principles are things that we sort of learn. Some of the ones in particular were helpful in being thrifty, which are kind of two of the more important things, like how to, make things work with sort of limited resources and, like CPR and all that jazz and stuff like that. We learned CPR. We learned how to what to do if somebody's having a heart attack, if somebody's having a stroke, different stuff like that.
So you know how to save my life?
I don't remember, but it's somewhere in my handbook. I could look in my handbook. Somebody's dying.
I'll be dead by the time.
Let me pull out the book.
Especially in your messy room. It's going to be
about
what? 5
Leave me
minutes
alone,
just to
Darniesha.
find the damn book.
No,
I'll be dead.
it's not.
Foaming at the mouth, gone.
Oh, Lord.
So, since you are a seasoned Boy Scouts of America, what are your thoughts on the girls joining Boy Scouts now?
My little sister's in Girl Scouts. One of my best friends' little sister was in Girl Scouts. So I've known both organizations pretty well.
Yeah.
And I know that each of them have a rank that they have sort of at the top. Boy Scouts being Eagle, Girl Scouts being Gold. And we're told from like the very beginning, if you were to get these ranks, you will people will hold you to a higher standard. It's kind of like being like in an honor society or something like that in college. What has been discovered is that the Girl Scouts have been flocking to the Boy Scouts because apparently their highest rank doesn't hold up to the Boy Scouts' highest rank. Which kind of makes sense. I guess the girls want to be able to rank among the Boy Scouts and, be up in that upper echelon. However, I feel like the issue is not a Boy Scout issue. I feel like it is like we said, an overall issue of gender equality with the fact that they have to, it's not that the ranks are broken. It's the system. Like you have to fix the system in order to make sure that boys and girls get an equal chance. So I feel like the Boy Scouts should not have to take that responsibility of the Boy Scout, because people are putting on the Boy Scouts like, well, the Eagle is higher, well, the Eagle is doing this and doing that, when it's not. It's the system.
Well, what is the Eagle Scout? That's what it's called, Eagle Scouts?
Yeah.
Rank? What is it? What sets it apart from the rest?
The Eagle Scout rank essentially means that you have all the necessary skills that you've learned in Boy Scouts. You've mastered all of those different principles that I just named. You've mastered all of them.
Do you put that on your resume? But I wonder, like, how many executives be like, oh, he was an Eagle Scout.
Well, if the executive is an Eagle Scout, then they would know they would know the significance of it. And like I said, we were all told that like once you get the rank, you can use it forever. You can it'll follow you for the rest of your life. However, have I seen it utilized in what I've done so far? No. But that may be because I haven't exactly gotten
went into a field.
Yeah, went into a field that kind of
nor networked with people that you've met in Boy Scouts.
Yeah. I haven't really experienced being able to really use it, but I know the weight that it holds, or that it could potentially hold.
Yeah.
So,
But as you said, you have to fix the system.
Mm-hmm.
But Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts, they've been around for a long ass fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
Because Boy Scouts was established in 1910, and then Girl Scouts was established in 1912.
Something like that.
Yeah, 1912.
Mm-hmm.
So back in those times.
Yeah, things were a
1912 and
were
1910.
a bit backwards.
Yeah,
I feel like if both organizations were established in 2018, they would be together.
Yeah.
Because nowadays, the world is coming into a place where everything is equal.
Yeah.
Everything is the people are trying to level the playing field for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the system back then, was it dated? No. Is it dated now? Yes. However, like I said, it shouldn't fall on either organization. The responsibility of trying to clean up the mess that, all these different.
What mess, though?
The whole mess about the Girl Scouts. Well, the Girl Scouts are suing the Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
Because they feel like, what did they say? The Girl Scouts are suing the Boy Scouts because
a covert campaign to recruit girls.
Yes, they're organizing this campaign to recruit girls, which is also sort of taking away from the Girl Scouts' credentials or credibility. And it's funny because the Girl Scouts is exclusively girls. Like, they don't let nobody else in.
Mm-hmm.
But the Boy Scouts have actually been implementing programs for men and women for years. Like, when we used to go to camp and stuff like that, there would be girls there. There would be a lot of the leaders and a lot of the instructors that we had were girls. Like, a lot of those special programs, like the special hiking programs and like canoeing and all that jazz, those are ran by women. I think there's like some sort of forest.
Well, no, it says
program.
that in Boy Scouts, like women, even in Boy Scouts, it said that women couldn't be part of it, but they could volunteer.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that's how Girl Scouts are. Like, boys can't be
Not
in
really.
it, but you can volunteer.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've never, in the years that, my sisters have were in Girl Scouts, I never saw none of that. I never saw.
Because a man's not going to go and become Boy Scouts.
Not just because.
Volunteer, yeah. He was like, if he's going to volunteer, he's going to volunteer for Boy Scouts of America instead of Girl Scouts of America. Yeah. Girl Scouts of USA.
Yeah. Maybe that's part of the double standard that's there.
It's the Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts it's the foundation itself was built on white Christians.
Yeah.
Like, that's the foundation.
Yeah.
So, and seeing, like I said, that these organizations was founded in 1910 and 1912.
Mm-hmm.
There was no acceptance of others.
There was no reach for equality.
Right.
That's true.
And when they were founded, that was, like I said, that was normal for boys to have their own thing, girls to have their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like someone in Girl Scouts is like, okay, now this is 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we still one and the other when we all do the same damn thing?
Right. You know what's funny? You said that they weren't reaching for equality. They still kind of are just getting around to that point now. Oh, because like you said, a lot of people have been complaining that there is no outreach for minority children in the Boy Scouts.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was just about to say.
There's no.
I was just about to bring that up.
There's no outreach for them. Like we were saying earlier, they're just now letting homosexual.
Yeah, because like
gays and lesbians.
In 2017 was the first transgendered man.
Yeah.
To be accepted into the Boy Scouts of America.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got the girl who's joining.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to start letting girls join in 2019. Like, it's passed now, but it won't be in effect until 2019.
Right. And I was actually reading somewhere that the Mormon church, who is like extremely like against homosexuality,
mm-hmm.
actually severed ties with the Boy Scouts after.
Oh, wow.
It's like they were associated with each other for decades, like 50, 60 years or something like that. And they severed ties because they're like, we don't approve of that.
Yeah.
And the Boy Scouts are like, well, they want to make sure that they are an organization for everybody.
Because low-key, even the Girl Scouts, it was all like Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, it was all segregated by race even then. Because like once they started,
because I think
it started in 1912 is when it started, but it wasn't until 1921 it was the first American Indian troop.
Yeah.
In 1917 was the first African American troop. But even when they created those troops, it was the black troop, the Indian troop, the white troop.
Yeah.
They didn't all do things together, though.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. So it's always been like okay, we'll include you, but you're still over there.
Mm-hmm. Why
create troops of different groups?
Yeah.
Segregation. That's so retarded to keep people separate, but be like, oh, we're all Girl Scouts. What? Okay.
It's funny, though, because it's sort of, that practice is still sort of in effect today.
Yeah. And it wasn't even until in 1917 was the first African-American troop in New York. Oh. But in 1932 was the first African-American troop just in the South.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. You know, racism rolled deep in the South back in the day.
Child, do you not know I just had a conversation at work about this?
What?
Racism.
What were y'all talking about?
Child, my coworkers seem to believe racism don't exist anymore. But
it's very real. It's very, very
that's what I'm saying. Real. Like, that is why people, racism, homophobia, it all exists.
Yeah.
We just don't. They tried to say,
they don't acknowledge it.
They tried to say people talk about it just as like a story, as a narrative.
No.
To keep it going, but it really don't exist. I'm like, people create the narrative because they believe it.
they don't just believe it; they experience
it
on a day-to-day basis.
Right. So I'm saying, as a scout, did you ever feel like you ever experienced racism?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like, do tell.
Okay, so one trip we were doing some sort of leadership training. Mm-hmm. For the leadership training, they do like scavenger hunt type stuff where you have to sort of solve different puzzles and use your resources, like navigate a compass and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Boy Scout stuff. We were a team. Mm-hmm. My troop was a black troop. Mm-hmm.
So, all y'all were black?
Everybody was black.
See?
Yeah. Okay. That's what I was saying. It's still systematic.
Yeah.
It's not law, but it's still a systematic practice. Because if you think about it, I'm getting on a tangent now, but most Boy Scout practices most Boy Scout troops are occupied by churches. Mm-hmm. Churches are usually...
Or y'all have meetings and stuff?
Yeah. They're either predominantly black or they're predominantly whatever the religion of the church is. So my church is a Baptist church, predominantly black.
So that's where you joined Boy Scouts. You joined it from your church.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, of course, we're going to have black troops.
Yeah.
Whereas Presbyterian church in Jacksonville, North Carolina would likely have an all-white troop.
Yeah.
Because, number one, I don't know any black people that go to a Presbyterian church. Number two, it's Jacksonville, North Carolina. No offense to the people who live in Jacksonville, North Carolina. But it's getting back to what I was saying. Our troop was predominantly black. Mm-hmm. There was another black troop. There were two black among everybody. There was two black troops and one white troop. So I think it was like 6 of us. It was 6 of us that were supposed to be together, like doing the scavenger hunt. Teams of 6. So there were 6 of us, and then I think the black troop had like 3 people, and the white troop had 3 people. So
They just put y'all together.
they split our troop up,
Mm-hmm.
put 3 of our guys with the black troop and 3 of our guys with the white troop. Why? Because at the time, our troop was sort of gaining momentum,
Mm-hmm.
and we were getting strong. We started out kind of weak.
Mm-hmm.
When we first got there in 6th grade, we were a mess.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Y'all
whole
were
nother
young.
story, though. That's a whole nother story. No. We were a mess because we were a little ratchet.
Mm-hmm.
We were actually very ratchet. Just, like, okay, I remember there was like fights. We used to fight.
I was gonna say y'all
In
were
our troop.
young.
I was like, Jesus. But as time went on, we got a little bit more mature, which means we took the stuff
took
a
it
little bit more
seriously,
seriously. And we kind of, in terms of like competitions and stuff like that, we were low-key dominating.
Mm-hmm.
So
So they broke y'all up.
they broke us up.
So,
Yeah.
the niggas ain't about to take over our whole little shindig.
That's exactly what happened. So my group of 3 went with the white troop, which they just so happened to be. Very skilled,
Mm-hmm.
and they were also aware of what happened. They were like, "Yeah, that's not right because y'all are good.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all are good," and they did that on purpose.
Yeah.
So when it came time for awards and we won an award, they allowed for us to take the award home.
Oh, they allowed y'all.
They didn't allow us, but the white troop was like, well, I feel like y'all earned it because
Aw.
y'all had to go through that whole thing.
Yeah.
So
Well, at least the white people recognized that,
yeah,
and said that, spoke on it, because so many wouldn't have.
but it's like it's noticeable,
Yeah.
like the sort of discrimination that happens.
That's why I'm so low-key opposed to Boy Scouts. I'm opposed to joining the Army, because it's all the same.
It is sort of
It's all about unity, but they separate you.
It's like they want you to be equal, but at the same time, it's their version of equal, not the right version of equal. Because equality is subjective.
That's why I'm like, and plus, it's Boy Scouts. My perception of Boy Scouts is, I guess it's because
Lord.
I look at Law and Order, SVU a lot.
Oh,
so
Jesus.
anything with camping or anything,
Oh my God.
I'm just assuming like, Lord, somebody out there fucking the little boys. Lord, go get your kids.
Oh Lord.
Are they them little boys out here fucking each other?
Oh my God.
I'm just. Mm-mm. If I ever had a son, I would not put him in no damn Boy Scouts. But it's not like pedophilia is something people talk about. That's one of the main things people sweep underneath the rug.
Pedophilia is also something that, if it is common in Boy Scouts, which I've never heard a case of it, it's not something that just happens in Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts or any sort of Scouts that, for that matter. Number one.
So I said Boy Scouts is a good opportunity for someone, for a pedophile to, like, that's a great opportunity. Just all the children for the picking.
It is, but how many? It's like if
Because that's what a little boy ain't gonna tell nobody that, oh, my camp counselor, my troop.
our Scouts did. They were
What?
like, mm-mm.
Because y'all was black.
Yeah. You ain't touching us.
Right.
We ain't with that bullshit.
Y'all had to tell y'all leaders that?
Because the majority of us grew up together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was me, Josh, and like 2 or 3 other boys. Most of our dads were the majority of the leaders.
Oh, okay.
So it just wasn't.
Well, then, in that case, yeah.
For us, it wasn't common. I can't speak for other troops, but as far as, people getting down in the woods and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to a friend recently who was saying that I guess their parent was like, I'm not putting my child in Boy Scouts so they can go and get exposed to homosexuality. She was saying, like,
Who said that?
Huh?
Who said that?
You know who said that.
Said that?
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
And so she was saying, well, maybe he just means that since they're openly doing it, he doesn't want to openly expose his son to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, but you openly expose them to that when you send them to school,
Right.
when you send them to church,
Right.
when you send
When
them,
it's the damn preacher
right.
got a man on
Right.
the side.
It's not the organization that's wrong. It's the people that's wrong.
Right. Yeah, I was just looking at a video with my mama, with Pastor John Gray, and he was saying, he was on the Breakfast Club, and he was saying how people need to stop pairing the person with the organization.
Right.
Like, yes, the pastor may be wrong, but it's not. It's just
It's not
keep
the whole
it.
church.
It's, right. It's just it's the person himself. Look at judge the character of that man instead of pairing the character of that man with the organization.
Right.
Like,
Well, I think part of the problem is if you can't separate the person from the organization, then the next best thing to do is to just disassociate yourself from the organization altogether, which is what it comes to for a lot of people in terms of Boy Scouts. Which is why I understand what he's saying, but you also have to understand that
an organization creates the environment to allow certain behaviors.
Yeah.
So obviously somewhere
Along the
lines, you created a space to allow your leadership to abuse the scouts.
Yeah.
You didn't have certain safety precautions.
Yeah. It's kind of like, ooh, dare I say this? It's kind of like police brutality.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
That's what I said. That's why I don't like anything.
It's not
because it's all the same.
It's not law enforcement. It's certain police officers.
Right.
Because there's good cops out there and there's bad cops out there.
Right.
But all cops get a bad name because of the ones who shoot and kill African Americans.
Mm-hmm.
When it's not, and like a lot of people do, it's very easy. Like I said, it's instead of picking out all those people who do it, because not everybody's gonna come forward.
Yeah.
It's much easier to just be like, fuck the police, fuck 12.
Yeah.
Where it's like all cops are not bad.
Well, I guess that's why people are mad with Girl Scouts.
Mm-hmm.
Because they like, if you don't like it, then why are you trying to be part of us? Keep doing what y'all been doing.
Yeah.
Why are you they're basically criticizing the inequality, gender inequality,
Mm-hmm.
but then trying to become part of the organization that is reinforcing the inequality.
It's like the Girl Scouts I think Girl Scouts are upset because they
I mean, I get it. Like,
girls want the rank of Eagle.
yeah.
The Girl Scouts are upset because the Boy Scouts are like, well, if you want the rank, we'll create a space for you to have the rank.
Mm-hmm.
And the Girl Scouts are like, well, now, wait a second. Ours is just as legit.
Yeah.
So why are you taking our girls from us?
Mm-hmm.
The Girl Scouts blame the Boy Scouts because I guess the rank is higher. But you can't blame the Boy Scouts for it. It's the system altogether. It's the system of when you go get a job. Like if me and Sally were to go get a job at Bank of America, we had all the same credentials, same major, same GPA, all that. But she was a gold and I was an Eagle Scout. Mm-hmm. And the guy and whoever is hiring us decides to choose me. That's not my rank's fault. If the employer wanted to choose my Eagle Scout rank over the gold rank, then that's not the Eagle rank's problem. It's the problem of the employer who is wanting the Eagle Scout.
But I mean, even then, like when they get the Eagle Scout, I mean, the Eagle Scout rank it's still not going to change nothing because it's all about the system. And the system is women are beneath men. Mm-hmm. Hell, you could have just the simple one badge out your whole life. Right. You could have been part of the Boy Scouts your whole life, only had one damn badge to show for it. Nah. They would still choose you over homegirl that got an Eagle Scout rank. That's just how it's going to be.
But you know what's crazy?
What?
The Girl Scouts have to do more in order to get their gold rank than the Boy Scouts do.
See?
The Girl Scouts, okay, so in order to get the highest ranks, you need to complete a service project. Mm-hmm. Basically, a program that benefits your community and implements the skills that you learned in Boy Scouts. Girl Scouts, in order to move from bronze to silver to gold, they have to complete a project for each of those ranks. So I think it's 3 projects that they have to do. But the difference is each project has to sort of top the other one. Like I know right now, my little sister, she is currently earning her silver with her project. So she did a project, I believe it was like last year, 2 years ago. Now she's working on the next one. And then she's got a project after this to earn her gold.
That's why I'm really like just opposed to the organization itself. Because you're getting these ranks and shit like that. Because I think it should just be like the Boys and Girls Club.
Like
as
you should
equivalent
just be together.
Yeah.
They should be together, to be honest with you.
I
That
mean,
way there would be no...
Be together and just let it be like a damn camp. Like I said, like a summer camp type thing.
Well, you know why that doesn't happen. If you think there's issues now, if both organizations merged and everybody was in the same place, it'll be worse than high school.
Everybody gonna be fucking out of one leg.
They'd be like college. They'd be like college for like preteens and teenagers.
I mean, isn't Boy Scouts and stuff supposed to prepare you for real life?
It is, but that's what college is for too.
That's how you should learn.
No. You don't need no.
That's where you can. No, that is a good way to teach boys how to be around girls and not take advantage of them.
I don't think that's true, but I don't think we're ready for that. I don't think society is ready to have all the girls and all the boys in one place because
like I said, you do it in camp.
Okay, let me give you a scenario.
They got camps where kids go, boys and girls. They sleep in different places, but they all go.
Let me give you an example. So they made us go on this military ship. Mm-hmm. We spent the night on a military ship. There just so happened to be a Girl Scout troop that was there with us. Mm-hmm. We didn't know any of the girls, but we were there together. During our free time, one of our guys was caught getting his little sausage sucked by a Girl Scout. Mm-hmm. If we can't be in the same space that period of time together, what makes you think that they could do that permanently? Once again,
if he found time to go get his dangling sucked, once again, it's all about security, setting up the proper security precautions. How could he slip away from everybody to go talk to her and get his whole dick sucked? Like you can't meet a stranger and be like, you about to suck this dick. We right here, we by ourselves. Like, no, they talked, got acquainted with each other, courted each other, chose a certain time, when, where. Where were the leaders?
In a matter of like 3 hours.
Exactly. Like, where were the leaders all in? And why? Once again, if I'm sending my child away, I need you to know where he's at all fucking times.
That's true.
So you mean to tell me everybody's supposed to be in their hotel rooms? I'm assuming that's where y'all stayed at, right?
No, we slept on the ship.
On the ship? Mm-hmm. Oh, y'all was on a cruise?
No, it was a military ship. So they had we slept on the bunks, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's neat to go on a military ship. Mm-hmm. And hell, all the motherfuckers on the ship and you ain't see 2 kids walking off, wandering by them damn selves. Mm-hmm. Come on. And it's a fucking military ship.
So that thing is huge. That thing was massive. There were planes on the ship. There were fighter jets on the ship. That's how big the ship was.
How the hell did you, and you only accounted for, you only got to watch a certain amount of kids. How many was y'all?
Like a dozen, maybe.
You can't
12,
keep
13.
your eye on 12 kids? Hell, y'all's leaders was too damn busy living their best life during y'all's downtime instead of paying attention to y'all. Because I said, like, if I'm sending my kid, y'all need to. If you don't have people's kids, you need to have a super duper precaution. Like at least when I went to Washington D.C. for what grade? 5th grade field trip. Mm-hmm. Each person had each group had a what you call those people? Not a sponsor.
Chaperone.
Chaperone.
Mm-hmm.
Every 4 people had a chaperone. So that's what Boy Scouts need to do.
You need to be in charge. You go 4 people.
Right. If you gonna, well, I can't keep up with 12 boys. Well, I'll make it more simple for you. You watch 4. If you can't keep your eyes on 4,
you're fired.
Right. You don't need to be here.
Right.
You have failed as a leader. Why are you here? And if a little boy can go get his dick sucked by a Girl Scout, then the leader can go sneak a little boy off and go get his dick sucked. That's what I'm saying. You need to be keeping your eye on these kids.
Yeah.
If you gonna have people's kids, take precautions. Treat them like they your kids.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want your kids wandering off. You tell your kids, you stay right here in eyesight. Right. I'm gonna beat your ass if you if you walk off and I can't see you.
Mm-hmm. It's not that hard to take care of. If they were to implement a program where it's co-ed, there needs to be a much higher standard than what we had.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Come to think of it, Anders.
Oh, Lord.
Answer my, because this is all when I think about, like I said, when I think about Boy Scouts, I think of little boys fucking little boys. Cause
no.
Yeah, in the woods.
There's more than that. But
for many hours, all by yourself, no women around. And y'all at that age, that horny age, where boys get to exploring. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you will only be a fool to think none of that's happening.
You know.
So is the boys getting it on?
You know what? People had their suspicions.
Mm-hmm.
I had my suspicions. I heard some things in the troop that I was in. I heard, yes, I've heard it before. I'm not gonna lie. I've heard that story before.
Was it like just one boy out the troop? Or is it like was it just y'all's troop, or like when y'all got together with other troops? Did y'all ever get together with other troops?
I've heard one guy that was in our troop actually had advances from another Boy Scout in a different troop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We were doing some leadership training where we were all in different tents.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not in different tents, but we were, they sort of separated everybody. Like, all the different troops went with different people. They tried to make sure that none of the, you weren't with any of the guys that you were in the troop with. So
got you.
Yeah. So, one guy in our troop said he was he was tenting with a white guy, and the white guy was like making advances to him. So he was like, I'm switching tents. Bye. Keep in mind, we were like in 6th, 7th grade when this was happening.
Mm-mm. That's what I'm thinking. Like,
I hope the Boy Scouts don't sue me for defamation of character.
That's not defamation of character.
It's the truth.
It's just activity that happened in the organization. It happens in any type of organization.
Mm-hmm.
Just like in the military, it's ask, don't ask, don't tell.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know what you be doing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see it and I don't want to know about it, but I know you doing it. That's just how the Boy Scouts are. We ain't gonna sit here and pretend. That's why I said they should bring the Girl Scouts with the boys. Just make it all one big old happy family.
Yeah.
And then that's where you can teach boys how to behave around girls.
That's true.
That's why it'd be less, because you shouldn't be getting a whole class or a little seminar about what to do when a girl is drunk.
Oh yeah.
Like, come on, I think we all got sense, but you insist that we need to.
Yeah.
Like, it's right. I'm saying, like, you should. That's what Boy Scouts should be teaching boys, not fucking how to fucking camp. You need to teach them how to not take advantage of Susie when she's drunk.
You know what? The Boy Scouts both organizations need a tune-up on how to respect the other and how to behave in society and how to overcome societal issues like that. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, we touched on like sex education a little bit in Boy Scouts, but not to the point where we were getting into rape and stuff like that.
Both organizations need to join us in 2018.
2019.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Shit. The year is about to be over.
Yeah, I think that would be very essential for both organizations.
And it's because, like, in the real world, you're trained to, all of this that y'all learn is for when you grow up and get out there, for getting into careers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be, there's inequality in just in the jobs itself. So I guess, granted, they sort of, Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts being separate teaches the girls how the boys are just going to always be experience more favor than you.
Honestly, I think if they were to combine both of the organizations, I think it would add to that would sort of make them feel equal.
Yeah.
It'll implement sort of that psychological equal.
Right. So yes, the system now is still very divided.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're raising if these scouts are growing up in a system in their organization where you see girls as equal to you,
mm-hmm.
then they will create these businesses where it wouldn't be an inequality issue.
Yeah.
So in time, the youth is our future.
Mm-hmm.
They create the future we live in.
Yes, they do. Hallelujah to the kids.
So we got to start now and show. That would be very interesting, though, to have all together. That would be like the first demonstration of seeing with kids too, because like people get so scared with kids. Like, oh, I don't want no kids to see homophobia.
Yeah.
I don't want my kid to get confused if they see a little girl dressed up as a boy. I don't want them thinking they can do that. I don't want my kid around no Buddhist. I don't want my kids around no atheists, or else they're gonna become atheists. It's retarded. First off, raise your child to think for themselves.
Right.
If your child go to school and they see a gay boy and they become gay, baby, I'm telling you right now, your son was gay already.
Right.
I see white people every day. I ain't never said, "Oh, I'm gonna go be white."
There are some people who do that though.
Well, as I said, but it's all about parenting, because their parents raised them to have fickle minds.
Kids are very easily. I think it's the fact that people believe that kids are very easily influenced. But it's like if you're really for equality,
Yeah,
for the end of racism and sexism and colorism and xenophobia, homophobia,
yeah,
you've got to expose your kids to all sorts of different environments.
You got to be prepared that your kid may be someone that you were not expecting to be.
Right. Like,
and you got to take it as it might be. Yeah, some kids do. Monkey see, monkey do. Some kids do got that mentality. However, it's always a damn phase.
Did you hear about what Young Miami said from City Girls? She went on the Breakfast Club and said she loves the gays, but she would not want her son to be gay. Like she would hate it if her son was gay. And it's like, you don't raise your kids to be a certain sexuality. You raise your kids to be the best person they can be and accept everybody,
character,
regardless of what they are.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's what a lot of people get confused. But honestly, though, I mean, I get what she's saying. I wouldn't say in that I say the same thing, but not in that context. Because I say, if I ever had a son, I would not want him to date a white girl. Now, granted, would I treat her any differently? I just wouldn't. Like, I would still treat her as any type. I would still treat her, respect her. But I'm just not going to be like, yes, he got a white girl. You know, I'll be like, ooh, thank God, a black woman. That's what I would be like. But if he brought a white girl, I'd just like, okay, we got to deal with this, Darniesha. Take it in. It's happening.
Well,
black women are the only ones who can understand a black man the best.
They've been through similar struggles.
Right. That's why I told this, like, because me personally, I'm trying to find other races attractive. I just can't get there. I mean, I'd be like, oh, he's cute. He's a cute white boy. But when I date him, no.
Yeah.
So I would congratulate my son on being able to
be able
see
to
past it. Yeah. But me, I'm trying. I'm like, well, I was like, why is it that I can't? What is it?
Right.
Like, I'm trying to get to the bottom of that. Some people would be like, I just don't like white people because I don't like white people. No, it's the bottom reason to that. Like, everyone always says, oh, I can have my preference. It's my opinion.
I think that's true, though.
But it's always a bottom line to it, to what we like.
Well, I mean, people of our race have a reason to say the stuff
Right.
like that. Because at the end of the day, you know what I can't stand? I can't when black people do, I guess, make fun of white people, and white people scream, that's reverse racism.
Right.
They're being racist. I'm like, no. Racism means that we are systematically oppressing you,
Right.
Keeping you from having jobs, keeping you from having a stable income,
Right.
putting drugs into your communities. No, we're not doing that. We're just making fun of you. We're in prejudice, yes.
Yeah.
Racist, no.
Right. Like, black people, we guilty of being prejudiced, but
Yeah.
racist, we not capable.
Yeah, black people can't be racist.
That's
It's facts.
definition, right?
Right.
Definition, like, it's set in stone. Black people can't be, like, don't be mad at me. That's just the definition of racism. Systematic oppression.
Mhm.
I can't oppress you when I am being oppressed
Right.
by you. That don't make sense.
It doesn't.
And anything that we do is in retaliation.
Right. As you know, as everybody should know, men are paid more in the workforce than women are.
Mm-hmm.
So much so, women are paid 80 cents for every dollar that a man makes. I think that sort of translates into, I think the conversation about Boy Scouts versus Girl Scouts is shining light on a bigger picture of workplace equality.
Right.
Because like I said, if you choose the Eagle Scout over the Girl Scout, it's saying something about your preference of gender.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they both have the same, accomplishments and did everything similar,
Mm-hmm.
what's the difference between them? That rank, the boys versus the girls, which is why I can sort of understand why why girls want that rank so they can compete. But at the same time, like I've said many times already, it's not the organization, it's the system. So, Darniesha, what do you think we can do to fix this system?
Well, first off, here's a crazy thing that I've been realizing in my workplace.
Mm-hmm.
All the men, the boys that I work with, they say, I would much rather work underneath a woman than a man. They was like, they would rather have a woman as a manager versus a man, because when they have male managers, it's always like a pissing contest. Like, you gonna do what I tell you to do, and then that's what the manager's saying. Like, you gonna do what I tell you to do, what I say go. I'm the man of this store.
Yeah.
And then you got the male employees like, fuck you, I'm a grown ass man. You ain't
Yeah.
gonna tell me what to do. So that's all I see at work every single day. The managers and the male employees just going backwards and forth, basically a struggle over power. And I was like, so, and then you try to tell women that gender inequality doesn't exist.
Women are seen as less dominant when it comes to the workplace.
And just men feel entitled to power.
Mm-hmm.
Like they deserve it. Mm-hmm. They basically are born with it.
Yeah.
They don't need to earn it. Whereas women, like, we have to first be, because we're not even taught. Women aren't taught to hold powerful positions.
Mm-hmm.
First off, so as a woman growing up, you have to see yourself in that position first.
Yeah.
Just to obtain that, to get there. Like, you got to see it first in order to get there.
Right.
So once you finally see it, you have to start. It's a fight just to get there.
Mm-hmm.
You just as black people, like, you got to work 10 times harder as your male counterpart.
Yeah.
Who be late every fucking day, don't do shit when he gets there, be on his phone all the time, going to the restroom for 20 to 30 minutes, then go take his hour lunch, then take a 45-minute smoke break.
Right.
You be like, damn, you gonna work today at all? So and then he getting more money than you.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
And just as a woman, it's like, you can't be every time I get a job, I'm not happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I always know in the
Somebody's
back of my
getting paid
head,
more
yeah,
than
I'm
you.
like, he's probably getting more than me. And that's some bullshit. And then
Women and minorities have to work twice as hard to get what white males get.
and they expect you to work harder.
Mm-hmm.
Because they always come to you. They always coming to me to do shit. I'm like, I be telling them, I'm like, nope, go ask so-and-so. The one who don't be doing shit, go ask him. Because I know he making more than me.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't get paid enough to handle the whole store's issues.
Right.
I was like, you want me to start taking no more? Let's go in this back room and discuss my pay.
Right.
But I was like, I'm only making $11 an hour, so you gonna get $11
Right.
an hour worth of effort and care.
Let's be clear.
Like, I'm gonna do what's in the bullet points on this job position.
Mm-hmm.
Anything outside of that, I need to be getting paid for.
Mm-hmm.
Cause my manager's trying to make me a key holder. Key holders don't get paid. Don't get it raised, but
What do
you
you
take
mean?
on way much more responsibility.
What do you mean?
Key holders, like they,
Oh, people who like open and close.
yeah, and do drawers with the cash and all that stuff, and
And you won't get a raise for that.
yeah,
Interesting.
right. So I'm like, you want me to become a key holder? No,
Mm-hmm.
Cause then I'm gonna be the one even though it's 3 other key holders, I'm gonna be the one he gonna be having closed every goddamn night, cause he can trust me. I'm not setting myself up for that.
Right.
And I was like, as women, you always have to, when you go into careers, you always have to accept the fact that they expect you to accept that you're going to work hard and get paid less to take care of everybody else.
No, it's not
To
how
pick
that
up the
works.
slack of all these males you got in here ain't doing shit but still getting paid twice as more as you.
Right. It's not how that works.
Right.
It's just, it's crazy. Women are so underpaid that it would literally take like 41 years for women to earn the same amount as men
Right.
in the workforce till 2059.
So your work ethic should be how you are paid.
2119 for black women, 2229 for white women. I mean for Hispanic women.
Is the year what?
That's the year that the pay will be equal. That's over 200 years. It'll
I ain't
take-
got time to wait for that. I'll
Right.
be dead by the time that happens.
Right.
So it's like, what we got to
Look, by the time that happens, we will just have discovered a new race, and they're gonna be paid under.
Right. New race.
Aliens gonna come by then. Something's gonna happen.
Right. Hell, by 200 years, we might be gone.
Right.
Because the Lord got these hurricanes coming back to back.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're flipping sausages. Because Florida can't catch a break.
Right.
They keep one coming. As soon as they recover from one, here come another.
Every second that Cheeto is in the Oval Office
That's why I
is
said
100 years
make it.
taken off of our lifetime. That's a shame.
We ain't going to make it.
Mm-mm.
Not with Cheeto.
This is why we need gender equality, people.
But
This is
it's
why
like-
we need equalness.
Notice all the changes that they project won't happen until pretty much those races are dead.
Mm-hmm.
The people who created the structure
Yeah.
and who live by that structure and traditions, that's when they will be gone
Mm-hmm.
and they will have less power.
Yeah.
So we just gotta, that's the bullshit that we just gotta wait for the old motherfuckers, the 1%, to die off.
Right. We just gotta stick it out till then. Even though there's stuff that we can do now to make sure that our future is secure, make sure that everybody's equal, everybody gets paid equally.
I think they should, once again, like I said, you should get paid for your work ethic, as in numbers. Like first, when you get paid, when you first start a job, everybody should get a base pay.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you start hitting certain numbers, then that's when your pay will increase.
Right.
So if I'm say working in a warehouse and I'm boxing up 200 boxes
Yeah.
by the end of the night, and when the average is just to do 100 boxes by the night, and I'm doing 200, I of course should be getting paid more than everybody else who's boxing up 100 boxes,
Yeah.
who are barely even hitting that.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's the woman who's doing 200 boxes instead of who's hitting a way above quote that's getting paid less than all the men who's either hitting quote are underneath the quote and giving you all these issues.
Yeah. It's like,
That's why, like, when I apply for jobs, I have that discussion. Like, I always ask, how easy is it for
mobility.
yeah,
upward
the mobility. Yep, like getting new positions, and what is the culture of the workplace?
That's a good question to ask.
Because I'm a person. If I ain't feeling the culture, I will quit right there, right then and there. Because like a career is like if you're going to go into a career, you're going to be. I want to stand behind a company that I feel has my back.
Yeah.
And has to share the same values and beliefs that I do. So I'm not going to go work for a company that is known to be racist, is known to be in prejudice against certain groups.
Yeah.
Is known to, like Costco, for example. I would not go work for Costco because it takes forever just for you to become fucking full time.
Yeah.
And then
thank you.
And they care.
For
like
the shade.
This boy that I know, he didn't become a manager until he cut off his hair. Like he had to cut off his hair in order for them to like make him a manager. You have to change the way you dress in order to become a manager position. I'm like, why does that matter? If I'm doing my work.
First of all, if we're in a uniform, why does what I have on matter?
Right. What I look like even? Like I'll be like, am I doing my numbers? Am I hitting my numbers? Am I giving you any issues? No.
Right.
So, what are we talking about here? Give me my fucking position.
Right.
Quit playing with me.
Exactly.
And that's how a lot of companies lose a lot of good workers, because they be playing with them. And then they want to out. And like for example, my grandmother, she lost her job because she's been working with that bank for like 13 years. She was a manager, and I think it was like a VP type position had opened up. She applied for it. Of course, they outsourced, gave it to some white girl, fresh out of college.
I think she was telling me, that's what she was telling me about.
Instead of hiring someone who's been with the company for 13 years.
Yeah.
Like, what sense does that make? A lot of companies outsource instead of hiring the people that's been with the company.
Right.
What type of sense does that make?
No. Well,
what's the point of having these people work here if you ain't going to progress them up, push them up?
Right.
America, our tradition is, if it don't make sense, then we going to do it. If it makes sense, we ain't going to do it.
Oh, it's crazy. Implement it today.
Signing here. I was like, I hope one day we can get paid equally. I hope what my position would be.
I hope one day everybody is seen as equal across the board. I hope that they put the content, like what Martin Luther King said. I hope people are judged by not the color of their skin, not who they go into bed with at night. What is that?
Well, that's my church bells.
Not who they go to bed as at night.
Wow.
The God they worship, their practices and interests, but the content of their character.
These people don't care about that anymore.
Nope. But we got to put it back in place. We got to listen to Dr. King.
But hey, as I said, change happens, and then we take one step forward just to take 5 steps back.
Every single time.
Maybe that's what I said. This thing with Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts, it could be something good. Because you just got those traditional people who's been in the organization damn near since the beginning. So of course they don't want to see change, a whole lot of change.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's the inevitable. You're fighting the inevitable.
This is true.
And you got to go roll with the organization, roll with the world.
Oh, before we end, can I tell another story?
What?
Okay, the other racist story that I was going to tell. Josh and I were going to a sort of Eagle celebration. This is when we were seniors in high school. We were going to a celebration that honored different Boy Scouts in Charlotte. It was sort of like a gala or banquet type thing. This older white man comes up to me and starts looking at my uniform. He's like, well, this isn't on here right, and you call yourself a Boy Scout? Because this isn't right. And he's like, yeah, the guy's like, yeah, you should go home and change. I don't know. He's like, why did you come? You shouldn't even be here. And I was just like,
why are you talking to me, first of all?
I was like, first of all, go die somewhere. Second of all, I'm here, and I'm proud to be here. Mm-hmm. And nothing you say to me is going to prevent that. Mm-hmm. Because whether you like it or not, I earned my right to be here. Actually, the fact that you're so negative and so nasty to other people, you shouldn't be here. You should not be here.
Snaps.
But that was my little tidbit. It was something I learned early on. But I overcame it, and I went, and I was honored, and I felt proud, regardless of what that was.
Overcome.
Look. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. It won't work.
Oh, hit it. Gender inequality gonna be around just like racism will. Mm-hmm. It's just one of them things that just won't die.
It's one of those things that if you want it to happen, you need to be the change that you want to see.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It hold other people responsible.
Hold other people responsible. Hold
accountable.
yourself responsible.
Right.
You can't
say,
uphold one. You can't uphold one thing and disregard another.
Right.
Like in the black community, you can't advocate for all races to be equal, but banish the homosexuals in your own race.
Ooh, quick question.
Mm-hmm.
If you went to an interview, knew a girl that saw another girl there for the same job that you were interviewing for, and you knew that she was more qualified than you, but you still got the call, would you tell them, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to decline because I feel like so-and-so, that girl there was more qualified than me, so she needs to get this job before I do?
No, because money is money. I don't care what you are. But
you're not holding yourself accountable.
I don't care what you are.
You have to call out those companies.
I don't care if you are.
That's how the change is going to happen. You got to call them out on they foolishness. Mm-hmm. Me personally, I'd be like, you know what? I'm gonna take this job, and then after a while, I'd be like,
you need to hire her too.
Or you can always take the job and then try to become the recruiter.
That's true.
And then you be in charge. You'll be the hiring manager. You be in charge of who comes in and out.
This is true. You're right. You got to be the change that you want to see. Mm-hmm. Be the change you want to see. And be 100% for everybody.
Yeah.
It's not about it's not about your feelings towards a certain group or a certain race. It's about your attitude.
Right.
Have a positive attitude about everybody.
Like I said, the Boy Scouts are showing how they're not complicit.
Yes.
Because it's like when Girl Scouts said, hey, we want to be a part of y'all. Okay, come on. Mm-hmm. It wasn't no huge knockout, drag out. I'm sure it was like a lot of arguing at first. Mm-hmm. But it's like, okay, you know what? It's whatever. Because they could have like, oh, hell no. Y'all want to go to court over this? Let's do it. But they wasn't. Hell, really, it was more of the people who heard about the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts than the actual foundation that had an issue with it.
Yeah.
Long live gender inequality.
Yep.
Long live racism. Mm-hmm. Long live systematic oppression. Down with the man.
Down with the man. But
that's all for today, guys. We will catch you on the next episode of Sweet Tea.